Welcome to today's episode of Architalks, which will be continue talking about architectural history, and today's topic is Fall of Utopian Ideals and what comes next in Tafuri's, Rowe and Kotler's perspective. Examples of modernism in Germany in the 1920s and 30s show the definitions of modernism in urban design in urban context, as a result of the transformation of the city into factory models. Although the Siemensstadt project was a turning point in modernism, it also revealed its own contradictions. Additionally, Tafuri used Corbusier Agler's project as an example to show that modernism is a product of capitalism. Although Corbusier project is a holistic project, the idea remains only an ideal because it cannot be met economically. He argues that although these ideas remain beautiful in theory, the utopias of modernism cannot be realized because they do not match social realities, are not financed. As a result, we see the utopias of modernism remain far from reality due to social and economic obstacles. This caused modernism to remain in a context of ideals and show that it could not be used in a social integrity.
Tafuri also talks about the individual effects of modernism, explains the subject as follows. The city is a process objectified by the social relations of technical rationalization and capitalism. At the end of the process, the individual loses his individuality and originality and assumes a purely rational existence. This situation makes the individual extremely apathetic and psychologically draining. Tafuri argues that modernist architecture is used to prevent this meaninglessness of the individual and explains this with two extreme examples. While Edward Munch's The Scream shows the anxieties, contradictions and horrors of the metropolis with a cathartic expression that directly expresses them, Ludwig Hilberseimer's Metropolis Machine, the reduction of city planning to pure rationality, completely ignoring the subjective existence of the individual, shows the isolation of the individual in the modernist movement, and according to Tafuri, capitalism demands this.
It builds on the ideas of critical theorists like Benjamin and Adorno, particularly in their analysis of capitalism's impact on culture and aesthetics. Like them, he argues that the cultural production, including architecture, is shaped by economic structures rather than existing as an independent force. However, Tafuri focuses specifically on architecture's inability to function as a revolutionary medium, emphasizing its deep entanglement with capitalist rationality and urban planning strategies.
According to Tafuri, capitalism was using architecture for its own purposes. While modernist architecture excluded the individual and gave importance to function, capitalism turned this exclusion into hunger for consumption. According to Tafuri, not only modernism but also other ideologies worked as a factor helping to legitimize capitalism. Tafuri's concept of sublime uselessness suggests that architecture has lost its ability to transform society and has become limited to an aesthetic and technical function. Throughout history, architecture played a key role in political and ideological change, but within the capitalist system, it no longer holds this power. In the modern era, architecture has become part of economic processes and now functions more like a commodity shaped by market forces. As a result, no matter how innovative or radical an architectural project is, it is eventually absorbed into the system and loses its transformative impact. According to Tafuri, architecture can still produce artistically impressive works, but these works only provide visual or intellectual satisfaction without creating real social or political change. In this way, architecture becomes something that appears sublime, but in reality lacks meaningful influence.
Rowe and Kotler treat the collapse of the utopian ideals as a problem arising from the rigid and deterministic structure of the modernist understanding of urbanism. Utopian city plans were generally shaped according to the abstract rules determined by the central authority, which ignored the organic evolution and societal diversity of cities. The harsh planning approach brought by modernism failed over time and people did not feel comfortable in these artificial spaces. Rowe and Cotter argue that the utopian urban planning ignores real-life uncertainties and variability due to the pursuit of absolute order and perfection.
Accepting the failure of the utopian urbanism concept, Rowe and Cotter put forward the concept of college city as an alternative. This model argues that cities should create a structure where historical heritage and contemporary developments can coexist, rather than a completely ignoring elements from the past. College city proposes the harmonious coming together of architectural elements from different times and cultures. This approach aims to direct development of the city not according to a predominant grand plan, but through small-scale, flexible and adaptable interventions. Thus, cities can both preserve their historical characters and keep up with modernization processes.
Rowe and Cotter argue that modernist city planning prioritizes strict geometric order and homogeneity, making cities mechanical and monotonous, while the modernist understanding tried to shape everything with predetermined plans. It prevented the diversity and unexpected encounters that naturally occur in cities. Rowe and Cotter say that it was a big mistake for modernists to see cities as machines and try to organize them perfectly. Instead, they emphasize that cities must evolve over time with different social, cultural, and economic influences. According to them, flexibility and an understanding that allows different elements to coexist should be adapted instead of order.
Today, cities face complex challenges such as rapid economic development, sustainability issues, and the preservation of historical heritage. Rowe and Cotter's college city approach offers innovative solutions to these problems. Corporate development and urban identity. Today, large companies construct uniform and anonymous buildings in city centers, threatening urban identity. The college city concept promotes development that respects the existing urban fabric and historical context instead of such projects. Sustainable architecture. The college city model encourages transforming and reusing old buildings rather than demolishing them. This approach supports both ecological sustainability and the preservation of cultural heritage, community participation, and urban flexibility. Rowe and Cotter argue that cities should not only be shaped by planners, but also by the people who live in them. This perspective aligns with modern community-centered urban design approaches. Rowe and Cotter's college city model offers a multi-layered, flexible, and sustainable alternative to the uniform and deterministic nature of modern urban planning. Considering the challenges cities face today, the principles of this model remain relevant.
By advocating for a fragment and pluralistic approach, the college city allows for different social groups and architectural styles to coexist. This model resists top-down planning that often leads to gentrification and social exclusion, instead promoting diverse and inclusive urban environments where different communities can thrive. We have come to the end of today's ArchiTalk session. Together we focused on an inspiring journey through the world of architecture and design, shared our ideas and gained new perspectives. We look forward to seeing you again in next ArchiTalk. Never stop chasing creative ideas and dreaming big. Take care and stay inspired.